The Snowy Hydro scheme captures melting snow like this to help power Australia. Australia's most famous renewable energy project is made up of 16 large dams, 140 kilometres of tunnels and 7 power stations. But now the plan is to make it much bigger.
The beauty of hydro is that it's renewable and it's reliable. So it's there, we can turn it on whenever it's needed, and our only constraint is our water supply.
Well, we've been drip-fed information for the last 2.5 years since the project was announced. And as the information has come out, the costs have exploded, the impacts have exploded, and in fact the benefits have been clearly seen to be overstated.
Snowy 2.0 was Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull's signature energy policy.
I am a nation-building Prime Minister, believe me, and this is a nation-building project.
The original Snowy project holds a special place in the national psyche. It took about 100,000 workers to build it, most of them migrants from war-ravaged Europe.
Hi, Crystal.
How are you today?
Not bad, thank you.
One of them was now 93-year-old Tommy Tomasi.
I think it's great, if I'm still alive, to see it the way they go. It's a lot of work, a very clever project.
Snowy 2.0 is a major pumped hydro project. It's meant to make the electricity grid more reliable by storing water to generate electricity at times of high demand.
We just got to get our water to our upper storages. So when the demand's there, we're running the water from the high storages to the low storages through the turbines to generate the electricity. When there's that extra supply, we pump it back up the hill.
Snowy Hydro, the government-owned corporation that runs the scheme, argues the new project will mean cheaper electricity bills across most of the nation.
We think as a competitor in the marketplace, producing a very competitive green product will put downward pressure on the wholesale market.
There will be public subsidy in Snowy Hydro, whether it comes from the electricity payer or the taxpayer is yet to be worked out, but it will be a loss overall.
When it was announced in March 2017, Snowy 2.0 was to cost $2 billion. Less than a year later, the price more than doubled, up to $4.5 billion. Then in April of this year, a contract for part of the project was signed for $5.1 billion. Why have we seen such substantial increases since this was announced just 2 years ago?
So when the original 2 billion came about, we hadn't even done a feasibility study of what we're going to build. It wasn't until the feasibility study was done that we could work out the true cost of doing so.
Was it premature, do you think, to put that number out into the public?
Again, it's my fault. I mean, I take responsibility for that. I advised the then Prime Minister, based on that original model, that's what it would cost, but we had to do the feasibility.
But critics point out none of the costings include the extra poles and wires needed to connect the scheme to the national electricity grid, which will cost billions. Snowy Hydro argues it won't be the sole user of the transmission network, so it shouldn't bear the cost.
So what it'll mean is someone's got to pay for it. So the taxpayers will pay for it through your taxes, or do you pay it through your bills? And what I'd argue is that that'll allow more energy in the market, producing downward pressure on the energy component of your bill.
It will require a great deal of public subsidy to happen, which will push up prices. Or if it doesn't push up prices, it'll push up taxes. And when you do that, you're not getting a return by definition.
Energy analyst Bruce Mountain believes the cost to construct Snowy 2 and the transmission lines will ultimately be borne by consumers. According to his analysis, which Snowy Hydro disputes, the project will cost far more than the current estimates.
Here is a project that is likely to cost 5 times more than the then Prime Minister said it would, and whose capability is nowhere near what has been claimed of it. This is a project that we can confidently forecast will be a drain on the public purse, and whose service in the transition to a cleaner energy future can be met far more cheaply from other sources.
While costs have escalated, the timeframe has also blown out. In 2017, Malcolm Turnbull predicted the project would be complete by 2021.
The Snowy Hydro scheme was built over 25 years, and this is a project that we can add to that scheme within 4 years, and this is the company's estimate, not mine.
The estimate now is for 2025. In addition to the cost blowouts from the original estimate, the time has also blown out. Originally, it was supposed to be up and running from 2021. It's now looking at...
I'm not sure we got 21 from.
Well, wasn't it 4 years from when Malcolm Turnbull announced it in 2017?
I don't recall that 4 years, but we were talking at the feasibility study as being 25.
The new scheme means building a new 27-kilometre tunnel to pump water uphill from this lower reservoir. Ted Woodley is a keen bushwalker and a former senior energy executive. He's now part of a volunteer group fighting to protect public parks.
The project, in my mind, was always large, but I had never envisaged it would be this large or this complex. We're talking about 100 square kilometres of this park will be permanently damaged and, in some cases, destroyed. This, to me, is tragic.
Snowy Hydro disputes the figure. It says most areas will be rehabilitated and only 1 square kilometre of the national park will be permanently damaged. Some analysts argue that the scheme offers poor value for money and that the money could be better spent by making the existing electricity grid more efficient. This cold storage facility in Victoria is making money by changing when it uses power.
When they first advised that it could save substantial amounts, I was a little bit sceptical. I thought, oh, I can't see this.
Victoria Cold Storage has partnered with NLX, a company that effectively pays businesses to shut down their electricity use during times of high demand.
I'll switch it off now, it's just all going off.
Great. The demand response program has made us $30,000 per year for the last 2 years.
Really the first cab off the rank should be demand-side resources, because relative to anything else, they've got a lower cost investment required because you're using existing infrastructure.
Critics of Snowy 2.0 say its sheer size will mean less private investment in the energy market at a time when it is needed.
There can be no doubt at all that a project of the size of Snowy will crowd out storage investments by others.
I reject that absolutely, in my strongest terms. You're going to need 8 times Snowy. So I welcome others to invest. You know what my competitors hate most? They're going to get competition. The oligopoly is going to get challenged. They're going to deliver up more product into a marketplace, and the beneficiaries will be consumers.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.